All right, welcome to Facebook Live, and I am simulcasting this on Instagram. So your Instagram's down here, Facebook's up here. And what I'm doing today is I'm taking all the names from the people who submitted for the drawing for the remove before flight keychain, and I'm taking your names and I'm putting them in a hat, and I'm going to do the drawing of two names. Well, so we'll have two winners for the keychain here on the Plane Talk podcast. And geez, should I play the? Should I do the whole? Should I do the whole audio thing here? Hey, Andy, how are you? Good to see you, Andy. Andy Angelo, everybody. That man flew 747s. He's a crazy man. Came back and was a flight instructor for us at Executive Flyers. Good man. Flew in the Navy, fly Navy. Oh, we're getting a lot more people joining here on Instagram. Hey, come on, Facebook, catch up. Come on, you can do it. Hey, everybody on Instagram who's clicking in live right now, you know, I'm not going to be sad if you head on over to Facebook and you give me a like over there. But hey, so yeah, we're getting ready. We're doing the drawing. I'm pulling out names right now. I'm folding them up. I'm putting them in the hat, and we're going to be drawing them out of the Liberty Aviation Museum ball cap. I should have showed this. I should have pulled this up before I put all the names in here. Hold on, let me pull the names back out. This won't affect the results. Liberty Aviation Museum. All right, so Liberty Aviation Museum in Ohio, located at the Port Clinton or the Erie Ottawa International Airport. Up by Lake Erie, Ohio, just south of Put in Bay. If you've ever been up there, that place is a lot of fun. They got a fantastic museum. Hey, Rick, thanks, man. Thanks for the feedback. They got an awesome aviation museum out there, Liberty Aviation Museum. And I thought Facebook was going to let me do a screen share, but apparently not. So, all right. Well, I can do the cheap way. I can move the webcam. All right, everybody on Facebook, I'm sorry if you're prone to motion sickness. We'll show the camera out here on the Liberty Aviation Museum's website. Everybody on Instagram, I'm sorry. You're just going to have to head on over to Facebook. All right. There, everybody on Instagram has now been on the Plane Talk podcast on the Facebook Live. So, yeah, I'm just folding up all the names here and putting them in the hat. I'm going to do a drawing. I'm going to pull two names that'll be the winners of the keychain, and actually it'll be four people because everyone who posted that I printed out, they also tagged a friend of theirs, and so them and their friend, or is it they and their friend? They and their friend are going to win the remove before flight keychain, which is do more live Q&A. Rick, you know what? That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad idea. Hey, Ed on Facebook. Hi, Ed. Rick on Instagram. Hi, how are you? Good to see everybody. And so yeah, we're going to give away 4 of these keychains. So if you tagged your friend and you and your friend win, well, awesome! Congratulations to you. And thanks for being a fan. Thanks for supporting the Plane Talk podcast. Next episode, we're going to be talking about Oshkosh. I'm going to be giving a recap on that over on the YouTube channel. I've got a couple of videos up. I shot like 14 hours of video, so there's quite a bit to go through on that side of things. And that's all right. That's all right. It's better to have more content than not enough. It's just, hey, it takes a lot of time to edit all that stuff, all those videos. So, hey, if anybody has questions while I'm sitting here folding these things, folding these names up and putting them in the hat, feel free to type them into the comments section here. And let's see, I think I'm paying attention to Instagram as well. Chris Didzelis, good to see you. Persuna, nice to have you. And let's see, oh man, I don't even think I can. Let's see, Duff Force 1. That wasn't actually that hard. I feel like a bit of a noob. It looked at it and it looked Italian, and I went, I don't speak Italian. I don't know how to do that. Fragile. It must be Italian. But anyway, Duff Force 1. How was flying the Super Decathlon at Norwood Bend? Haven't been there in a few weeks. Well, hey, come on back out. The Decathlon is always a blast to fly. It's a lot of fun. It's not all that difficult of an airplane to get into, but it opens up the whole world to you as far as tailwheel airplanes and maybe even getting into some warbird airplanes, P-51s and Spitfires, and even the really fun low slow airplanes like the J3 Cub. Those are a lot of fun to fly as well. So if you ever get a chance to get into one of those to get into one of those tailwheel airplanes, like absolutely do it. Ed over on Facebook is asking best advice for a new tailwheel pilot. And go! Okay, best advice for a tailwheel pilot, and really this applies to any pilot. Keep it straight, keep it straight, keep it straight. All right? If you can keep it moving down the center line of the runway in a straight line, you're in good shape. So that'll be the best thing for you. And then I suppose the second best piece of advice I could give on that side of things is Your job as the pilot is to put the airplane in a position to land, not necessarily to force it onto the ground. So you want to hold it off about 2 inches in level flight, right above the ground. And when the airplane is ready to land, it will land. But the airplane's kind of like your significant other. If it doesn't want seafood, you can't take it out to Dick's Last Resort. They're not going to be happy. Nobody's going to have a good night. It'll probably end in a fight. That's no bueno. So, yeah, you can't make the airplane do anything it doesn't want to do. Ralph, good to see you, Ralph. Ralph stopped into Norwood the other night. He flies for a company that has those nice fancy PC-12s. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention the company, so I don't want to get anybody in trouble here. And hey, Vagabond Volante, nice to see you. You lost me at Fly Navy. Oh, sorry. Hey, look, hey, we're equal opportunity here. And Duff Force won't be there on Wednesday for next lesson. I'll have to look into tailwheel training. Absolutely, come on out, and we'll be happy to fly with you. So I teach for Horizon Aviation out of Norwood. They're also located at Providence at the Warwick, Rhode Island location. However, there's no tailwheel flying out of there unless I suppose I make the trip down there for whatever reason, but my schedule's pretty full. So at Norwood, so come on out and see me and take a look at the airplane. I'm happy to show it around. And Ralph has given me the okay to mention Plane Sense. So if anybody's seen those blue and white PC-12s flying around, that's Plane Sense. So hey, say hi to those guys. How can I suggest a show idea? Email. Yeah, Bo Nilsson. Email's great. Podcast at planetalkpodcast.com. That goes to Matt and I. And, you're already at Horizon. So you know everything. All right, cool. Come on out. Say hi. Don't be afraid. Bo Nilsson, a show idea. Yeah, podcast at planetalkpodcast.com is a great way to get a hold of us. You might even, you could probably even send a direct message to us here on Instagram if that's where you are. We're pretty good about answering all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean we're pretty friendly people, we think. I don't know. So, yeah, don't be shy, and feel free to say hi to us. So. Let's see if this works. Oh, if this blows anybody's ears out, I'm sorry. This is going to happen on Facebook. This isn't going to come out on the Instagram story. But here we're going to play the audio. It's dead air on Instagram. Sorry. All right. So after that fun musical intro there, you're all familiar with the Plane Talk podcast intro, the P-51 flyby from Quicksilver. And then the little bass notes played there by one of the members of the podcast. But yeah, hey Rick, thanks for hoping for the good wishes, and extended future in store for Plane Talk podcast. Hey, we hope so. You know, we don't really have an end in sight. Extended future in store. Well, yeah. I mean, we're not planning on going anywhere. And with the marvels of modern technology, Matt and I can reach across the country and speak with each other. So, hey, there's no end in sight right now for the Plane Talk podcast. So I didn't download a drum roll sound, but here we are. We got the Liberty Aviation inverted Liberty Aviation Museum cap here, and we're just going to reach inside. We're going to draw 2 random names. I'm not going to look. I'm just going to hold it over here. I'm not going to look. Can everybody see? All right, everybody over there, see? Okay, here we go. We got name number 1, which remember, the name on this, you've also tagged someone who was not someone who was already following the podcast, and so you both are going to win a removable for-flight keychain. So feel free to get a hold of us. And here we have the Bearded Pilots. And you're tagged there in Caitlin Martin 24. All right. So, hey, you guys have won. Reach out to us or we'll reach out to you. We'll figure it out. I don't know. We'll find each other one way or another. We got the Bearded Pilot and Caitlin Martin 24. So that's the first winner. Second winner, okay. All right, double blind taste test. I don't know what's happening. All right, here we go. The last one here. We got Thomas Roach. Ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Roach. And I think I cut off. Yeah, I cut off. Oh, look it up. I cut off the person who you tagged in the comments section there as well, and who you shared the podcast with. Thank you everybody very much for the shares. Hey, that's you, Ed. All right. The Bearded Pilot, Ed. Hey, reach out to us, Ed. Send us an email. We'll get a hold of you one way or another. Have your people call my. I don't have people. I don't. Not yet. Matt Stockman, good to see you, buddy. Matt Stockman, he's a good buddy of mine back from home, and he's also got his own YouTube channel. Am I plugging Matt's? Yeah, are you okay with that, Matt? Am I allowed to do that? I gotta wait for him to say it. Nicole, good to see you, Nicole. Nicole's in the United States Air Force. Used to work with me at Executive Flyers, her and Ralph. Work together out there. Great people taking care of airplanes. And yeah, we're just a big happy family out here. So Ed, congratulations. Tom Roach, congratulations. And we'll get those keychains out to you right quick and soon. And if anybody's got any more questions, here, I'll stay on for another couple minutes. And yeah, I'm just kind of mumbling at this point. I have nothing else to talk about. We could talk again about the Liberty Aviation Museum. I first interacted with these folks back in, I think it was 2008. They were in joint collusion, I don't know, with the EAA chapter up at Port Clinton, Ohio. They were hosting the Ford Tri-Motor, and they were doing some rides as a fundraiser and a promotional tour. The Ford Tri-Motor with EAA tours the country and on its journey to and from Oshkosh every year, and helps to bring this classic. Hey, everybody's waving. Tom Jekovich, good to see you, buddy. EAA does this tour to help bring the history of aviation and airline transportation to the masses out there, and people can take rides in the back of this aircraft. In fact, they were doing rides out at Oshkosh this year, and what was it? My buddy Ryland, who's one of my managers at Horizon Aviation, he went for a ride in the thing, and he said it was absolutely amazing. And I got to go for a ride in the aircraft back in 2008 out of Port Clinton. And then the rest of the people that were around that airport were really awesome. They gave my buddy and I, Tyler, we'd had a great time out at the show that they were doing, and we even got to fly a de Havilland Chipmunk while we were out there. We had to wash it afterwards because we made a mess out of it doing some aerobatics, and we pushed a bunch of oil out of the breather, so the belly was a mess. But we told him, hey, you know, if we give the airplane a bath, can we have a ride and something? He said, yeah. What do you want to fly? We go, oh yeah, we'll do the Chipmunk all day long. So. It's really cool to be able to fly a 1920s airliner, and then also to get to go fly in a 1930s, 1940s World War II trainer, and be a part of that history and have that stuff in our logbook was really neat. And there's opportunities for that stuff all around the country. Follow your local EAA chapters. Just get on the classic Google there and type in local EAA chapters or EAA chapter finder, and that way you can be a part of the history of aviation. Even if you're not a pilot, they're always looking for volunteers, for people that love aviation, that have a passion for it and don't mind spending a weekend with other people who dig airplanes too. So hey, yeah, Fish Finder, yeah, Tom. Got him on the Fish Finder. Let's see here, Rick. Do you suggest learning on steam and transitioning to glass, or do you see a value in being trained on glass? That's a fantastic question, actually. People that I have taught in glass exclusively making the transition to steam have generally had an easier time going from glass to steam. That's going to be user specific, I suppose, so everybody's different on that. But there's nothing wrong with learning classic round dial steam gauge and then upgrading to steam, or upgrading to the glass panels. The G1000, they laid everything out basically in the same positions as the standard 6-pack. So your airspeed is going to be on the left-hand side of the screen, your altitude is going to be on the right-hand side, and heading is right down in the middle, right where we're used to. So I mean, it doesn't quite look like this setup. This is more a setup from the 1950s before they were. Well, let's see, the mid-1970s is when they kind of standardized the layout of the dash, but it's really not that bad of a transition. It takes maybe 5 hours to really get used to it. I don't want to say the hardest part, but the biggest transition, or the biggest area that I focus on as a flight instructor, is the system side, so that you understand as a pilot when things start breaking down and when things start going wrong, what you still have, not what you've lost, but what you still have to work with. And just the other day, we had avionics bus 2 go down in the aircraft, and you know, we still had COM 1, we still had NAV 1, we still had the primary flight display, we still had the air data computer, so it still had altitude, heading, airspeed, vertical speed, we still had all that stuff, but we lost the transponder. And when you're flying in controlled airspace like around Boston, well, you got a big Mode C veil, and our maintenance base is in a Class Charlie airport, so you need Mode C, you need altitude reporting to go to those airports. And it just became one of those things like, oh, well, all right, I don't have this anymore. Let's call them up and tell them, hey, this is where we are. Do you have any problem with us being here coming in? They said, no, just tell us when you're changing altitude. Like, sweet, can do. And it was not a big deal, not a big deal at all to get into those airspace, just a little bit of communication. No panic, just fly the airplane. And Tom, are drone pilots really pilots? Well, I'm a 107 drone certified. I have the card thing, and I've flown a drone before. I think it's a very neat flight regime, and the controls are very easy to get used to, and they result in some really awesome camera techniques that you really can't get in an airplane. So someone who is a really good drone pilot, who's really a master of their craft in that aircraft, or in that unmanned aerial system, is really has as much skill as any pilot who is good at competition aerobatics. It's all about the work that you put into it and what your goals are, what you're getting out of it. So I'm not going to say that that they're not, that they're not a pilot. I'm not going to say that they're any better than any other pilot, but I believe that they are a part of the club just like anybody else. So, hey, if you got a drone and that's all you can fly, go fly the drone. Just don't take it above 400 feet or in controlled airspace without permission, yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, I just said yada, yada, yada. Does anybody know what TV show that's from? Anyway. Eddie Collins, thanks for the thumbs up. Good to see you. Matt Stockman, say something from Top Gun. Let's see here. I feel the need for speed. And I'll high five myself because I don't care. All right. I love that movie. That's a great movie. We should review that one on the podcast. That would be a lot of fun. If anybody thinks that would be a good idea, hey, just send us a message. If you think it's a terrible idea, send us a message. We don't care. We'll listen to anybody. But yeah, Jessica, thanks for joining. Rick, cool, thanks Rob. Episode suggestions, can you explain why the two different flight schools require different amounts of hours? Okay, so the basic there is that the FAA has looked at the syllabus and said, okay, we expect to have between in a 61 school, in the hours that we have laid out as the minimum requirement for the pilot, that they will be experiencing certain pieces, parts, and elements that would come up in normal everyday flying. The experience requirements are there to give you the experience of operating in the real world. The nice part about 141 is we can build a syllabus that takes the elements that the FAA is kind of expecting people to come across or experience in their flight training, and we can put it into a controlled environment. As well as the FAA certifies the school, they certify the syllabus, they certify the instructors, and the facilities, and the maintenance department. So everything, every aspect of that school gets looked at and gone through with a fine-tooth comb and continually inspected. Now, this doesn't mean that a Part 61 school is doing anything better or worse, or a 141 school is doing anything better or worse. They're just different levels of certification. And the nice part about 141 is the structure. And with that structure and knowing that you're going to get X, Y, Z of experience, they say, okay, you can have a lower hours requirement because everything that we're looking for you to experience is in here. And that's why you can get a lower experience requirement on hours required. It's, however, going to be a little more expensive because you've gone through that whole certification process. So you pay a little more per hour, but you fly a few less hours in general. So that's hopefully that answers you guys' question about types of flight schools between 61 and 141. I've taught for both. I started off at a 141 school with Kent State University in Ohio, which I gotta get the squirrel out. So this is my Kent State squirrel, my black squirrel from Kent State University, and this thing's pretty cool. It goes with me, on most trips. It's not that I have to sleep with it and cuddle with it at night. I don't need my precious. But anyway, that was mostly comedy. But yeah, I started at a 141 school, and then I went to my hometown flight school for tailwheel and aerobatics, and that was a Part 61 school. And then I ended up teaching for them for a little while I was still in college, and went back and taught in the college environment for a long time. And now I'm out in Boston teaching 141. Been out there for the last 5 years. It'll be 5 years this month. Since I packed up the car and drove 12 hours overnight to start. Heck, that's 2 weeks. That's what was it? I think it was the 16th or the 17th of August that I did that. So yeah, it's gonna be 5 years, and I met some really awesome people and done some awesome flying. And you know what? I wouldn't trade it for anything. And really, it's kind of led me here to the podcast and to talking to all you wonderful people here on a Monday night at 9 o'clock, 9:50. It's almost 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast. But hey, yeah, you know, it's been a lot of fun. Dan Morgan, good to see you. There's another Kent Stater. Dan, hi. Sean Burdor, another Executive Flyers guy. So, yeah, I mean, congratulations. I don't know if anybody has any more questions. I got about 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to sign off of this thing. So thanks, everybody, for coming out, and I'll give it here just a couple more minutes. But Thomas Roach, hopefully you see this soon, buddy. I pulled your name out of there. And the Bearded Pilot, Ed, I see you up there. Ed, thanks a lot for sending in the comments, and we'll be doing some giveaways in the future as well. So pay attention, keep an eye out for those things. And hey, we're going to be happy to keep awesome podcast content coming to you. And if you have suggestions, send it to us. Podcast@planetalkpodcast.com is the email. Extreme Junk and Sam Ryan, wave back at you there on Instagram, over on Facebook. Everybody else, hey, you know, fly safe and have a great night. Hillary Kreisberg, Miko, Hillary, you shouldn't be joining this just now. The Bachelor's not over, or the Bachelorette. I don't even know which one it is. Favorite airport in New England, Duff Force One. In New England, gee, that's a tough one. Okay, so let's. I'm going to break it down by categories. I'm going to go towered and non-towered. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to break it down to 3 categories. Okay, towered field is going to be Martha's Vineyard because it's awesome. I love going in there, and that's a lot of fun. And then it's right on the vineyard, so of course you're there. Grass strip, it's going to be Katama, which is also on Martha's Vineyard. Apparently I'm a snob. I just figured that out. And then my favorite non-towered paved strip in New England is Kiwi, and that's up in Maine. It's a lot of fun to go in there. There's nothing particularly great about it. The gas isn't particularly cheap. The runway's not particularly harrowing. It's a little bit narrow, but that's a place where you got to have a little bit of skill to get in there because it's the way the traffic patterns are set up. It's right pattern for runway, I can't remember what it is now, 25, and it's left pattern for runway 7. So no matter what, you're landing with a tailwind on the base, and that's really challenging. You got to crank the airplane around the base to final turn to avoid the overshoot. So those are some of my favorite airports in New England. Dan Morgan, hi from Japan. Oh man, Dan, you flying C-17s over in Japan? That's pretty cool. I think you're still in the C-17. Last time I looked at you, yeah, you were doing C-17. So hopefully you're still in the cockpit. And yeah, all right. So everybody, that's it. I'm done for the night. XO4, Tom Jack. Okay, XO4. I'm gonna have to check out XO4. And anybody else out there who has FlightAware or anything like that, or what is it, AirNav? AirNav XO4. Let's see if that's. I hope that's an airport, Tom, or I'm going to be really. Orlando Apopka. Oh yeah, dude, Apopka. Apopka's a lot of fun. I've not landed there, but I have family in Apopka, so that's pretty cool. FA-83. All right. Where's Spruce Creek, Tom? Do you know where Spruce Creek is? I've landed there. I love that place. It didn't fit the category of New England, but that's a great airport. And I have a couple of friends down there as well that, you know, if you can have a house at an airport, I think Spruce Creek is the place to have it. Daytona, FA-83, Daytona. Okay, so Orlando North Air Park. Okay, that's cool. How close is that to Disney? Because I'm a huge Mickey Mouse fan. Anyway, all right. Okay, who's going to laugh at the Mickey Mouse? Huh? All right, we'll see what happens there, Daytona. All right, well, thanks everybody for coming out. And, hey, I don't know. Fly safe. Take care. Bye. I gotta end the boat. Ah!